Oh, hey, I see you've noticed my cheeseburger backpack. Hannah, what do you think about this cheeseburger backpack?
I want one as well.
Oh, we're definitely gonna order another one.
We need two.
Yeah, I kind of think that you need like not a hamburger, but a pizza backpack or something. Something to complement this one.
I mean, if you have a pizza-shaped bag, unless it's like a big circle, I feel like everything's just gonna get stuck in the point of the cheeseburger or the pizza.
It would not be a good design for a bag. You're absolutely right. Unless you were just carrying marbles or something. I don't know. Anyways, everyone, welcome to what is formerly known as the Tendo Show, but this week will be known as the Hannah Bob Show. How do you like the ring of that? Hannah Bob?
The Hannah Bob Show.
You into that?
You said Hannah Bob one time in one video, like eons ago, and it's stuck ever since.
You know, something pretty cool that happens when you have a YouTube channel where you post daily is people come along, realize they like the channel, and then they start binge watching everything. And it's always a really fun experience because for like a month or two at a time, now that we have a year and a half's worth of channel videos, you'll see names reoccurringly every day posting on every video from beginning to end. It's kind of wild, but one person, I recognize their name, they just dropped into the Discord because they finally came across the episode where I introduced you as Hannah Bob. And some of you newer people watching may not know this, but very early on in the channel, we had a roommate, and there was 3 of us on most episodes at some point, and I would always start the videos introducing Hannah and Patrick as the wrong thing. And one of the times it was Hannah Warrior Princess, and one of the times it was Hannah Bob, and those two have kind of stuck for a long time. But let me tell you what today's show is going to be about, and then we'll get into it. Basically, we're just going to chat for a little while. I want to talk to you guys a bit, and then Hannah and I are going to switch places, and we're basically going to do like a kind of rapid-fire Q&A with Hannah. We'll find some lengthier topics to talk about, but we want to fly through some stuff. We want to get to talking to Hannah, because you pretty much have to pry things out of her. She doesn't offer much willingly. But Hannah, let us know. Well, actually, let me say before we do this, get your questions for Hannah ready so that later in the show we can drop those questions on Hannah. I want you to, for the next 20, 30 minutes or so, just think about it, what you want to know about her, what you want to know about what she likes, etc., etc. And when the time is right, drop them, okay? And also, some of you that are here now, you know, we're probably about up to, 100 viewers, 75. Probably by the time that gets here, we'll be up closer to 200 or something like that. So if people start dropping questions for Hannah, you guys in chat let them know to save the questions for later. Because a lot of people are going to drop in the moment I'm done suggesting this. But anyways, Hannah, let us know who's here.
People are pouring in. We've got Andy C. We've got Taylor G. We've got Jacob Hall. We've got a Cam's electric toothbrush. Kevin Boyd, Niagara Joe, of course. Sunblade Dragon, Cat Mom Kelly, The Brewhead, Blaine's World, Samantha, Mandy Ray, Robin Cherry, Stephen Cook. Everybody's just like pouring in, like saying hello. So, hello everyone.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Has anybody got anything good to say?
Someone called you an extra from an Avril Lavigne music video.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. Oh, we didn't even talk. We didn't even address my get up. Hannah custom created this fit right before the show. Short sleeve suit.
I sliced the sleeves off and hemmed it.
and my dress shirt that my tie is tied to, it's my Applebee's shirt. So, anyways.
It is indeed.
Anybody got anything positive to say while I walk out this backpack?
Do you still have your Olive Garden shirt, or is that ripped now? Didn't you get pizza sauce all over it? And
I destroyed it. Yeah, we went to Lou Malnati's with Ivan.
Yeah.
Or was that with some of our other friends? I don't know. I think it was Ivan.
Yeah.
And it was like first bite pizza sauce right there. That shirt is done.
It's over. Well, it's sad because it was like a blue and white shirt, so it never had a chance.
Oh no, absolutely not. I don't wear white clothing for pretty much that exact reason.
Yeah.
What else we got?
The Furby shelf is unreal. Are you excited about your growing Furby shelf?
Oh, it's incredible. A large portion of this channel's history has revolved around collecting. If you haven't been here too long, just know that. A lot of people drop in when we're doing a really serious week of Antique Mall restocking and rebuilding and stuff, and they think this channel is just about Antique Mall restocking, and they drop in the next week, and I'm like, look at this 300th Furby I brought home! Yes, thank you for that question. I'm ecstatic about the Furby collecting. I don't know that it'll ever get old because, you know, like they're showing up a couple a month at the thrift. Honestly, you guys have been sending them to me a little bit at a bit higher of a frequency than that. But I think it's the perfect kind of thing to collect because it checks a lot of those vintage 90s, 80s nostalgia boxes. The color, the insanity of it. I mean, you know, standard Furby. Let me get one off here that looks crazy. This is from one of you guys. I mean, look at those eyeballs. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes because they come in all these neon great colors. But then, like, the weirdness of it having the human eyes, it elicits, like, a biological response. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You cringe. Even if you think it's cute in the end, you've long since decided that a Furby's cute. When you look at this, you get a biological response that just makes you go...
It's the eyelids, I think.
You think? It's the real eyelids? I think you might be right
so.
about that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I got it. It might. But, yeah, I like it. But that's not the only thing that makes them so great to collect. There's several different generations that are easier in different regions and places. The 2005 Furbies, I think, were really popular for some reason in Europe. And you can't find a single one here. I don't even own one. I own the 2005 McDonald's toys, which brings up another point. You got the McDonald's toys, you've got plushies, you've got memorabilia. I like it. It's a lot to collect. What else we got?
Curie Lord asked, have you guys ever turned all of them on at once?
No. We've turned them all on at least once. When we bring them home, we'd like to know whether or not they're working. Because I have 4 or 5 of the classic ones out of the 15 or so that I own that don't currently work, that I'm just kind of saving up spare parts for. But I do know what that would sound like because there's a lot of people doing that kind of shenanigans out there on the internet. We'll definitely do some of that one of these days.
We should do it for a live show, just one day at the end, just let them all start talking to each other.
Just title our live show, we're going to turn all my Furbies on at once.
That'd be kind of terrifying, but also really awesome.
Yeah, it would be good. I'd be super into that. So, I think I'm going to start doing something a little bit more specific with our intros. I feel like I'm running out of ideas for our channel intros. A lot of you are going to know this. A few people might not. Every month, about as long as we've been doing this, on the 1st, we change our channel intro. And one month, a couple months ago, it was Furbies, or was that last month? Maybe it was last month.
It was last month, yeah.
So I changed to the arcade thing from Furbies. And I kind of think I might start doing a scheduled thing where I'll finally pick 12 things and just rotate them every month. So it's almost like there's every March or whatever is going to be Furby month. So maybe next year when March rolls back around on the channel, I'll get into doing some crazier things. Because imagine how big my Furby collection is going to be by then. Because this is what, 4 or 5 months? Something like that?
Yeah.
It's not that it hadn't been that long that I've accumulated that many.
Yeah, I feel like it grew really fast. But I mean, it's because people have been finding them and sending them to us.
Yeah.
It just has been crazy.
It really is setting at about half. Half of them I found, and half of them people sent to me. Especially the McDonald ones. It might be even a little bit more over that because people are finding those in their Savers and Goodwill bag wall toys at a pretty high frequency and sending them over, which I'm not complaining. Thank you. That shelf would not be what it is without you guys.
This is a funny little anecdote. Melissa Carney said she stocked toys at Walmart's when Furbies first came out.
No.
I wonder what that would be like.
I wonder if, that was not the earliest part of what you might call, I don't know what you would call it, but there was a time before that toy madness, it started happening in the 80s and stuff, people rushing stores and becoming belligerent over it. But I will say it's the first time I ever noticed it. I remember being 10 or 12 years old and there being Furby commercials and then the news talking about people getting violent over Furbies. I remember that. I remember talking to my family. Because I told my dad I wanted one. He's like, I don't know, son. It seems a little too crazy out there.
Sounds dangerous, actually.
Exactly.
I mean, that would have been crazy, to have to work at Walmart on Black Friday when Furbies were out. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, that would be bad. But yeah, I appreciate all you guys stopping by, though. We're going to talk a little bit about our previous week of thrifting before we get into the Q&A with Hannah. So again, if you just dropped in, save your questions for Hannah for a little bit. We're going to do a kind of rapid fire, super ultimate awesome interview with Hannah. We want to know what you want to know about her. But let's talk about this week in thrifting, because I've said several times with this live show, I want this live show to be a lot about that, about being a week review of the week before what we've done. So here's my rapid fire question for you before we even get to that. What's your favorite thing that you brought home this week?
Oh my goodness. Okay. You know, honestly, I have to think about what we brought home this week because the beginning of the week is a blur.
Right.
We've been doing a lot of game shopping in the end of the week. So.
Well, you're going to give away my answer.
I know. I was like, yours is kind of easier because you've got a bunch of those inbox.
Well, don't give mine away. You answer the question, then I'll answer it. I know what my favorite thing is that you brought home.
What is it?
Those Pyrex
the
bowls.
Pyrex bowls.
Duh!
The second you said that, I was just like, wait, brain blast. I remember now.
Yeah. Well, you guys comment below, too, before we continue this conversation. Let us know what your favorite thing that you brought home from the thrift, from the trash can, from the flea markets. It's not just thrifting. We're going to say thrift because we're thrifters. Some of you are going to be yard sarders. Some of you are going to be Yale sailors. Let us know what you've brought home and where you brought it home from. But yes, Hannah already gave it away. Best thing I brought home this week was our Game Boy games. Hannah and I have a shared passion. I have an obsession for video game collecting that Hannah doesn't quite share to that level. But if there is something out of the video game stuff that she does like, the form factor. I like collecting games because of the form factor and the art, just the perfect, encapsulation of what it is, the timestamp of what it's from. But the one thing that she can agree with me on is that Game Boy games are awesome. So we've kind of decided, after going back and forth several times over the last year with what we should maybe dedicate ourselves to a little bit harder, we kind of landed on Game Boys. So I brought home about 15 Game Boy games, maybe a little bit more than that. Actually, tomorrow's episode is more, spoiler alert, a little bit more Game Boy games. So I've spent a lot of the last week looking at my collection, recataloging it, reorganizing it, thinking about it, holding on to it, playing some of the games, playing some of the Game Boy games that I don't already have. And side note here, if you ever hear me say Game Boy game on this channel, I'm referring to Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. I'm just not going to say all three every time. But I've just been obsessed with Game Boy. Plus, my buddy Aaron gave me a backlit Game Boy Color some months ago. And I'm finally really just putting it to use, and I'm just loving it. I can't tell you how much I just love Game Boy games. And then we've been putting them on our Game Boy player on our GameCube a little bit, playing what little 2-player stuff you can play that way, which is not much, but taking turns otherwise on like some Donkey Kong and stuff like that. But that's definitely my answer. But those Pyrex that you brought home, you haven't done anything with them yet, right? They're just kind of on your shelves.
I really do feel like I want to give selling them as a set a try because I've never found a full set before. I've never actually even been able to piece together a full set before. So, other than like the one that I personally have, and I'm not getting rid of that one. But
I honestly feel like if you take those to your antique mall and put them on the shelves, they're not going to stay there past the weekend.
I mean, that would be fantastic, but who knows? I mean, there's a lot of people in our antique malls selling Pyrex.
Yeah, but I haven't
people go there for it.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen too many whole sets sitting around. Yeah. And that's either because no one stocks them or because they get bought out immediately. But let me know if anybody's comments come up saying what they brought home this week. We're there's way more of you guys watching than there are us here, so you guys almost always outdo us.
Yeah.
I get so jealous sometimes. I get on our Discord and look at the recent pickups. What do we got?
We've got, someone found some uranium marbles, dessert bowls, and this little jar that reminds me of a floaty diamond in The Sims. That's amazing.
Really? That's awesome. Well, give us a follow-up comment. Do you take a flashlight, a black light with you to the thrift to look for that kind of thing, or did you just happen upon it this one? I don't, we're aware of uranium glass. And of course, every now and then, Hannah comes up to me and she'll have spotted this green piece of glass that we're not quite sure if it's that or not because we're not terribly experienced with it. But it's also not something we quite care enough with just to add a whole flashlight to our arsenal of things to take with us, right?
Yeah.
But uranium glass is awesome, and it can also sell for quite a bit. So I can definitely appreciate that. Good find. What else we got?
Best find was a nursing book for 50 cents at the bin. Sells for $350. Well done. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that's a good. Did you know when you picked it up if it was that valuable, or did you just go, "Oh, I'm gonna get this and get home with it"? I would say our best finds, and this is just complete transparency here. This is not going to make me look cooler. Our best finds are always like that. I have such a baseline general knowledge of so many things, but no expertise in anything, that I very often take stuff home knowing that it's at least going to meet our bare minimum. I know it's probably a $20 thing, but we get it home and I go, well, holy crap, these are $100 a piece. That is way more regular of an occurrence for us.
Holy cow. Angelina found a Rob the Robot for Nintendo this
No!
week. Are you kidding?
Where did you find it? Where?
That's insane.
Did they say where they found it?
No, they just said that they found one this week.
That's pretty
Mandy
awesome.
Ray followed up on the uranium glass. They do bring a special blacklight flashlight with them to the thrift. That's
Very
really
nice.
smart. I mean, really, that's the only way to be able to be sure.
Right.
Because you'll sometimes see the right color glass, and it'll be like actually just a brand new from Target kind of thing that they're making look like uranium glass. So it can be very tricky without
Right.
it.
Well, I've ran into a few of you guys out in the wild that have been on the hunt for that kind of thing, and I always ask, if you've got a flashlight, because it's cool. I keep a screwdriver when we go to the thrift, and that's pretty much it, because I lose things so much. I've finally just gotten to where I feel confident enough that I won't lose my screwdriver. If I try to take a flashlight with me, I'm going to leave it sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just how that goes. What else we got?
Next Big Giraffe found something that's kind of timely. 20 plus minifigs at the bins.
No way!
That's amazing.
Some good ones, like some branded stuff, or just like general Lego minifigs. I ask that because I've finally been going through my Lego collection. Basically, besides this Furby shelf, the bottom half of all these shelves kind of has the lower tier stuff that we're not as interested in collecting, but we do like putting it on display. And as I've pointed out several times on our channel, and really several times on this show, we rotate things in and out. We'll keep a bunch of something for a long time and then just sell it all because it's not something we ever really thought we were going to keep. It was just something we were interested in spending some time on because we noticed it to be something that shows up a lot at the thrift, like a lot of your Zelda stuff. I'm sorry, not Zelda, Xena. Close.
Yeah.
It was close enough. We just, for some reason, we were like, there's so much Xena stuff at the thrift, we're just going to put it on the shelf for a while. But, there's a couple cool pieces down there, like the VHS.
Yeah.
And one of the figures and the pop. And, our trading cards that are Xena that we'll definitely keep. But there's a lot of other stuff we've brought home to the thrift that we're going to just probably go dump all at once. And now, I'm telling you this because Lego has been something on a bottom shelf down here that has just been bugging me because I just get a bunch of it and I pile it up. So I finally put all the ones I want to keep on my little Lego display, and I've taken all the doubles and I've bagged them up, and I have organized them into Disney video game stuff, and just TV, whatever, just stuff like that. Several bags, Marvel, DC, and I'm gonna go actually probably trade those in for, you guessed it, more Game Boy games. That's the plan, anyways.
Surprise!
But that's cool. I want to know what you found though. If you found any good ones.
For sure.
We had a few more fancy, worth a little bit of money Disney ones that I thought we would. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how random Lego minifigs can be worth a bit.
It is kind of crazy. And they're so small, but so collectible. So sometimes they're hundreds of dollars. You're like, why? Why?
Yeah,
though?
why though? What was the one we had that was banging? We had Zerd. Lieutenant
Yeah.
Zerd.
And we were missing one of the pieces for it, unfortunately, because he has a giant little bottom stand skirt
No,
bit.
we had that one. That was a different one. It was the cape. We didn't have the right cape.
Oh yeah, it
But
was
we
the
had one that was close.
The other one that we had that I'm thinking of was what's his name from the Lego
Lord
movie?
Business?
Yeah, Lord Business.
Yeah, he's this tall.
Yeah, it's insane. But this one sounds cool. Hippie Mermaid Bear 23 found a Bratz foldable mansion worth $250.
Bruh.
Heck yeah.
Was it worth $200 how you found it, or was it worth $200 because it was in box or something? A little more info, just so we know when we find it out in the wild.
That's a good question.
It's kind of unfortunate because it's like the Furby stuff. Anything Furby I ever find for the rest of my life, I'm going to keep. I'm dedicated to this. And Hannah's pretty much there with her Bratz doll stuff too. So it's we've got one of the biggest things on this shelf, size-wise, that's Hannah's, is the inbox Bratz stuff that's laying around, which I'll get out just to show you. I mean, this is not big. This is probably not anywhere as big as that mansion that you're talking about. That's pretty big. That takes up almost a whole one of our shelves itself. And so I'm saying this to say, like, it's kind of unfortunate for our space, but when we find that mansion out and about, we're going to keep it. We're going to have to clear off the top of all these shelves or something. I don't know.
That's always the hardest thing is, like, finding things in box and, like, giant playset things like that. They just take up so much space. I have such a hard time keeping it.
Right. Well, and then also, like, look at these guys. Can you see on this camera? Look how big these Megazords are. And I've got 2 of them because this red one is going to be worth a fortune. Be on the lookout for the all-red Megazord when you're out at the thrift and stuff, because Power Rangers does this really weird thing where they'll release, and I'm talking original Power Rangers here, not the subsequent seasons, but they'll take all of the Power Rangers and release each one with the Green Ranger's chest piece on it, like that. That's supposed to be on the Green Ranger, not the Red Ranger. But they'll do all these runs just to make variants. It's how they get away with their variants. They'll make every Ranger with that chest piece on it. And then all the Zords and all the weapons, they'll for some reason make a run of all of them, and then they'll make all of them in red. And sometimes gold. The gold's the obvious one, because they just want to make fancy stuff. But it's just a long-running thing in Power Ranger toys to make all red versions of things. So I'm keeping this, because I know for a fact when I'm an old man, that's going to be worth a fortune. It's one of the few things in this room that I'm looking forward to the inflation on. Why did I say that, though? I have no idea why I'm telling you that.
We've spiraled a bit.
What was the last question?
About the Bratz Mansion. She mentioned she found that.
Well, yeah. So I was talking about the size. That's why I brought that up. And then I wanted you guys to know that if you ever find the red one, get it. Because it's already worth a little bit. But the Bratz Mansion, if we bring it home, like, where would we put it? How big?
I don't know.
Probably under that desk over there.
Ooh, we got a follow-up. She said it's not in box, actually worth that much loose. It was found at Alma School in Ray Goodwill.
Oh, here in town. Very nice.
That's insane.
I'm glad you found it, not us, because we'd be mad when we brought it home.
Yeah. It would have been rough.
That's awesome. Good find, though.
James Wardrop found a few OG Xbox games all sealed, and one was RoboCop, which is worth about $100. Do you have RoboCop?
Wow. I'd have to look at my collector's app to tell you. I don't know. I've got some RoboCop games. I don't know if it's that specific Xbox one or not. But that's cool. I love finding sealed games. Almost daily on our channel, I use the CLZ collecting app, right? And I show it on the channel all the time, but I just was looking at the statistics feature and found some features there that I never knew were there, and it gives me a pie chart of how many games I have loose, complete in box, and sealed. And I have, 3,000 games and almost 200 sealed games. Now, about 150 of those are nonsense and, not worth anything, but a few of the top 10 are worth $1,000 or $2,000 on their own. So I like sealed games. It's almost like having a little bank account set aside. You just set that aside. It's going to retain its value, if not go up. It's a very fun thing to collect. An asset, if you will.
It's a good investment, yeah. We had JFox OKC found 4 pieces of 70s Tupperware with the lids and only paid $1 for all of it. It's insane.
That's kind of dumb.
I've been honestly striking out a lot with Tupperware lately. I've definitely been looking for it every time we go to the thrift, but for some reason it's always been just a little bit overpriced or just not a really interesting piece. Like sometimes just those little square sandwich containers are just not worth my time.
Right.
Because I buy it for $1, it's really only worth $1. So
Right.
it's just, but finding some really good colored canisters would be amazing.
It's
I
been a
haven't
while.
found some in a while.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy because for a long time you were finding them pretty
I was
regularly.
Tupperware rich for a while.
You were filling your antique mall up with them. You know what's funny about that too? I want you guys to bear with me on this little bit of conversation because it's not going to sound like what I mean it to. Every now and then, we'll get a comment or a message or some sort of suggestion that suggests that because we're making videos about one thing or another, that usually in these suggestions, it seems to me that they're suggesting we're directly responsible in some way for price gouging on said item and or increased hype on said item. Now, I can certainly see where that comes from, because if Metal Jesus talks about a video game with his almost 1 million, I think, or maybe a little over 1 million subscribers. Someone go fact check that for me. How many subscribers has he got? You can definitely imagine how his influence over the video game verse might work. But us, we have 10,000 subs. In a 48-hour period, we get about 20,000 views. So in a day, about 10,000 views. And about a third of that is you guys watching multiple videos. Thank you, by the way. 7,000 individuals on this channel every day. I don't think that's quite enough influence for us to do that. However, I wouldn't be surprised if... this is where I can agree to it, or at least allow these suggestions sometimes. I think here in Phoenix, it's become very clear that a lot of people here in town have had the same thought. Ooh, I'm going to search on YouTube for people shopping Goodwills around here, and they found our channel and they hang around. There's a lot of people here in Phoenix watching. By the way, comment if you're here and you're in Phoenix. Obviously, a couple people have already said so. But I think a lot of people have watched our videos here in town and thought, well, I want Tupperware. Whether it's to resell or to keep from watching our videos, and here in town, they've run out to get it. So I wouldn't be surprised in this very instance if we didn't dig our own grave here, because we're very much so loud about the fact that we're in Phoenix and
right.
what Goodwill we're at and stuff like that. Which no problem. We kind of lean towards not doing dishes anymore, but definitely doing a lot less. But you got to get the good stuff when you find it. So.
Right, yeah. Which, the dishes do sell. All of my sales today were just dishes.
Yeah.
And I haven't been picking up as many dishes lately. I haven't been finding a ton of stuff that I absolutely love. For some reason, just, sometimes it'd be like that. You go and it just isn't good. But I've been really focused on clothes a lot more, so you can say that maybe I haven't been in love with dishes as much.
Right.
But, I don't know, yeah, it is a conversation that we keep going back and forth on whether or not to stop dishes entirely, just scale it all the way down, or just...
It's a frustrating conversation because anything we do has two realities. One, how does this affect our living? Two, how does this affect our YouTube channel? And that really, honestly, I understand requires a lot more explanation than I'm going to have time to give you, but that is how we process things. So, it's fun to deal with these dishes and make videos about them and Hannah look for them. But like a lot of things over the last couple of months, they've just been drowned out by our need to pay more attention to our clothing business. As it takes up all of our time. I deal with a lot of the administrative stuff with the making of the jeans. Hannah deals with obviously making them, and then we both spend so much time sitting beside each other on the bed, picking them apart. It takes up so much of our time that we've definitely been going, well, what if we just stop messing with dishes for a while? Then we'll have more time for jeans.
Which, I really have been enjoying... we have a ton of jeans on order to make. There's no mistake
We're
about
down
that.
50?
Yeah. I think we're down to 40 this week, but...
And we've made about 50 or 60 this week.
And as, maddening as that is to try to catch up and how difficult it's been to, really just pick up the pace and really get going, I genuinely enjoy making them, and, the idea of people walking around this earth with something I've put that much effort into and really, poured my heart into... And a design, I find that so incredible that it keeps making me very excited to get more of it. And so, yes, the dishes have been on the back burner for a minute.
Well, and then, I don't know, this is going to turn into a tangent, but that's fine. There's already so much of our lives, so many aspects of our lives, our YouTube channel, our personalities, that is just very much so a patchwork. We're trying to brute force what we want of this channel into reality, even though on YouTube you really only ever succeed if you narrow yourself into the tiniest box and then do that thing over and over, beat it like a dead horse until you die. That's the point of YouTube. If you're successful on YouTube, 9 out of 10 times it's because you did the one thing really well. The algorithm rewards that, and we hate that idea. We hate being just buried in that kind of linear fashion. We just don't want to be stuck doing one thing. So the jeans, I don't mean to get philosophical or anything like that, but them just being this weird patchwork thing we make out of trash suits us and our personality so well. We've definitely been giving into it a lot. And I don't know if you saw this eBay message or not. Yeah, I responded to it earlier. someone's asking for a very specific color pattern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on eBay.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and I read it, and I was like, we could probably pull this off. I mean, honestly, when people ask for us to go extra steps with our custom orders, unless it's really out there, it's not actually extra steps. So
Yeah.
sometimes, like, yeah, for 20 more bucks, because it's going to take a little more material, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's a funny thing. But let's make sure we get the rest of these comments in before we switch places. What else we got?
We're getting a lot of questions pouring in now.
About you?
For me.
Okay,
yes.
well, just get up. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If they're here, let's go ahead and get into it. If you're just dropping in, if you haven't been here very long, today's episode is not, in fact, about my cheeseburger backpack.
Though it very well could be.
It could be. But it is going to be asking Hannah some questions, some direct Q&A. Help us out. What have you always wanted to know about Hannah?
Well, while you catch up and read some questions,
Yeah,
I will tell you, someone suggested that you should get a churro skateboard to go,
Down.
to go with your
Down.
backpack.
I'm super down. I want to sit in just the way where you can see it, but this doesn't.
Would not work as well. Oh gosh, we've been so obsessed with Steven Universe. It's been super fun watching it all. I know we're kind of getting through it pretty quickly and probably getting toward the end. I know some of you viewers have read the comment are also really into Steven Universe, so that's super awesome as well. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. If you have HBO, give it a watch.
Well, you guys hit the like button before we jump into these questions. Also, help us get this video a little closer to 100 views. We're sitting at 49 right now. So if everyone's here watching, just hit it. We'd be groovy. But what I want to do is, if I see some serious questions that I think we can spend some time on, I'll save them for a little bit later. But I want to kind of rapid fire these questions. So if I ask you something and you feel like it requires a longer answer, fine. I don't care. But try to just give us some pretty quick answers,
Cool.
and we'll keep going. So the first one I saw is, what is the Holy Grail Bratz item that you would like to have the most?
Ooh, that I would
Singular
like
item.
to have. One singular. Can it be a set?
No, that's why I said they might appreciate that answer. So I guess you can do both, but I knew, because that would be my answer too, like that one whole set. But,
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's really funny because my initial want of Bratz item was this. The Tokyo Jade that someone actually sent me like the very first week we started talking about Bratz dolls. So, check! That's exciting! And then the other one that I was really excited about was the one from last week. Was the Tokyo, I can't remember the name of the set right now, but
the fancy Tokyo one.
yes, exactly.
All right, next question. Where did it go? When is the Hannah channel starting up?
Ooh, we have been seriously talking about it, so I'm hoping extremely soon. I don't have a set date in mind, but sooner than you might expect.
So let me add a caveat to that. The whole point of having another channel is kind of a don't put all your fish in one basket type thing. So anytime you hear us talk about another one of our channels, our hope has always been for it that it attracts a different crowd. There's a lot of people watching us that are into thrifting and reselling and stuff, but there's a certain, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say girlier, but there's just a certain aspect of the things that Hannah does that if she focused on them without my big burly self running around being an idiot, more younger teenage girls of a certain kind would want to check it out, and we would have a wider audience, you know.
A community.
But just like this channel, even if we do that channel, yeah, it's going to be her doing all of it in front of the camera, but then it's still going to be me doing everything behind it. So for her to do her channel, we've got to figure out how to, A, work it into what we've got to do, but B, figure out how and why we want to draw what other audience that we're looking for with it. Because, like, of course, we'll put it up and she'll say, hey, guys, go sub to my channel. And I pray that every one of you do, but we also really hope that it brings in some more people that this isn't going to. I'm not going to try to steal all your questions, but that's kind of a hard one to answer.
Yeah, that was a very important part of the question, so it's good to talk about that too.
Who is your favorite Bratz doll character and why?
Yasmin, because she was my very first doll.
Wow, easy one. How many Bratz characters can you name without taking a breath?
Chloe Jade, Yasmin, Sasha, Audrey.
I think that was the breath.
Dana, Megan, Fiona, Phoebe. There's I can't remember as many of them right now. There's not very many, but there are a lot too at the same time.
Yeah, it's just enough. And they're all pretty generic names.
Yeah.
Someone asked, why no garage sales? That's where they get all their best stuff.
Why don't we shop garage sales? There's a very small window in Phoenix for garage sales, which is not your typical
Weather-wise?
season. Weather-wise. Winter is going to be the best garage sale season time. We honestly find that Goodwill retail shopping is more enjoyable, more lucrative, a little bit more garage sales can be time consuming. They can be extremely frustrating because you can show up to 20 of them and find nothing and then you wasted your whole day. We just don't exactly enjoy it as much.
And I unfortunately have to add a caveat to that too, because it's like last week when we shat all over eBay for what we do and don't like about it, pros and cons. Some people are just going to hear the cons out of our mouths and be like, oh, they hate it, dude. If you like garage sales, great. I do too. I love them.
Yeah.
However, our life isn't just resale, just collecting. It's also YouTube, and the whole pattern of our framework of our day is way more conducive to thrifting. So even if we wake up on a Saturday and say, you want to go to some garage sales, we're almost always like, we'd rather go to the bins. And if you have a good bins nearby you, check it out because it's awesome, but don't check it out because it might talk you out of yard sales. When we moved here, we were way more into yard sales than thrifting. But the thrifting, where we live, it's magical land, so we just stick to that. Next question. What is your most valuable doll? Do you know?
Yes. The Tokyo one.
The
she
Tokyo one?
is worth about $100.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? That's a great question, Jason.
Location-wise?
I mean, I think it was any of the above. I imagine he meant it in a more not philosophical way. I don't think he meant location. Yeah, just in general.
I'll go with professionally. I think Dallas and I are both growing a very a clear path with YouTube and with our reselling business, my clothing, designing, and that kind of stuff. So in 10 years, potentially both of us having extremely successful YouTube channels that are growing into even more YouTube channels and a YouTube community kind of thing. And potentially also having a full clothing brand.
Unfortunately, that was the wrong answer.
No?
The only right answer was having more of these backpacks.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like 5 or 6 of them. No, that was a good answer, though.
Cool.
Also, there was a chat earlier, super chat, $3, 90s with GSD. Thank you so much for that. That'll buy us a breakfast sandwich tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's exactly what we'll use it for, because tomorrow is Sunday.
Today's
Sunday. Tomorrow is not Sunday. We'll get a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Would you consider a shipping container? Tindo warehouse.
I would consider a shipping container home.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Oh, a warehouse, because we've long talked about a warehouse on this channel for our stuff.
Okay,
Making
yeah.
out of shipping containers.
That would be fun.
That could be cool.
I think that'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, we'll add that to your answer about 10 years from now with what we want space-wise and what we want to do. Because we're both driven by this desire to have our own huge space to do our creative things.
Yeah.
So you could add to that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Trash World having a huge space for collecting, having a big area that we can have all these really fun, cool, curated collections, but also a YouTube space that we can make really awesome content, have a group of people that are around that are really that are on board with making our videos as well, having more personalities and more interests, and just really growing everything with that.
Yeah, we'll always have a channel that's probably Dallas and Hannah, and we'll go do goofy stuff, but it'd be nice to, at some point, grow a team of people to do way more than we're currently doing, with way more aspects. And we're laying the groundwork for that now, because like Rubber Duck Yellow, our second channel, we'll always have, but eventually I'd love to have a team of people around doing other stuff that also at some point in the day sit together and game, and then just shove all that content on there. We're dreaming a lot bigger than I think most would this early on in a YouTube career, but if we ever do that, we'll consider shipping containers.
It'd be fun.
What's your favorite St. Louis pizza? There is only one right answer.
Well, the only St. Louis pizza I can really think of right this moment is Emo's.
That's probably, if they're saying there's only one right answer, that's probably what they're talking about. I've actually had more St. Louis pizza than you have.
You really have.
I've spent a lot of my adult life working in the St. Louis area, whereas she grew up in a small town outside of St. Louis, so she had some of those chains that were in the St. Louis area. But I have a bad memory and can't remember the names of any of them. Could you think of anything but Emo's?
No, honestly.
Well, let us know if that's what you thought. Let's see. What else? What other questions do we have? What is one thing Hannah wishes Tindo would incorporate into the channel? Well, I don't know.
That's a tough question.
I mean, Hannah can incorporate whatever she wants in the channel. It's not really up to me. It's what do we have time to do?
Right.
But can you think of anything else you'd like to do more of? Well, I bet if you think of anything, it might be something that ends up on your channel.
That's more the answer to the question, is all the stuff that I could think that I would want to incorporate. Yeah, it would just be things that will be part of my channel eventually.
Someone said take over Fiesta Mall, which is now kind of rundown mall.
That mall is sketch.
Well, yeah, but it is a great space.
It is. That would be insane.
Is that not the one we've been inside of?
Yeah, that has like a Bath and Body Works and a GNC, and that's it.
We went in there once. We've been in there once because there was, or maybe still is, what was it, Dillard's?
It's a Dillard's, yeah.
It was basically a clearance center, but for Dillard's stuff. And we went in there because we're into that kind of thing. And there were maybe 4 stores in there, and then every other one of the 200-300 spaces was empty, including a Best Buy.
Yeah.
Which you could tell because of the colors it was a Best Buy. And we said the same thing, but like, what are we talking? $250 million to buy the piece of land in the building? $10 million a year upkeep?
But
I would love to.
Could you imagine
bro.
someone walking through and going, "Oh my gosh, there's a Lego store in there.
Right.
There's the Pokemon store."
Right. Well, the idea of Trash World isn't to be a museum or a store, though it might have aspects of both of them. But like, if you have that much space, I could fill a room with fidget spinners. Because that has to happen somewhere in the world, right? I mean, I don't care about fidget spinners, but I would have fun in a room full of them attached to the wall.
But like, what a specific craze. The fidget spinner thing was so insane. Just like, all of a sudden, every single person in the world had a fidget spinner, and they didn't know why.
All right, let's see. Let's get some more questions in here. You guys keep them coming. Let's see. I don't know if this is a question. It might just, I think it ends with one. Hannah being self-employed over standard 9 to 5. So being self-employed rather than doing 9 to 5, do you ever have days where it's difficult to be motivated to do what you know needs to be done?
Do I have days that I don't feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all the time. There's, with a 9 to 5 job, you have like a set time that you get up, go to work, come home, and then you just like stop. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But when you're self-employed, when your business is home and you have a lot to do in a day, and with us, we stay so busy. It's, it's by choice. It's what we do and what we enjoy doing. It's hard to shut it off. But yeah,
I think the problem isn't motivation up front. I don't mean to speak for you, but here's my observation of you. For me, I see it harder for her to accept how much she did get done. She can do 10 pair of jeans, and she'd be like, I wanted to do 12!
Yeah, I guess that's where I was my brain was already shifting into the answer, because that's how I am. I tend to set a goal super unrealistically high, and then I'm like,
Here's 3 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite place you visited with me on our road trips? Go.
On our road trips, I really enjoyed going to Texas to see Ivan and Monique.
That was a lot of fun. We're going to do that again soon, hopefully. You must choose one snack and eliminate all others. Which one are you choosing?
Oh, one snack for forever. Ooh, what's the third question? We'll come back to that one.
That's it. That's the only one I got.
Oh,
I got to find the next one while I got cinnamon buns. That's your answer. Yeah.
There you go.
I should have just made this me answering these questions for you. Because
How well does Dallas know Hannah?
You're just not quick enough. We know the answers. Do we ever sleep?
Yes. Too much.
Yeah.
Not enough. Both.
We sleep fine. It seems like we don't, but we've got that figured out. Happy birthday, Darrell. Glad you're here on your birthday. That's pretty dope. Let's see, what else? You take over close one. Okay, I gotta get back down to the bottom. How do you know what Levi's are valuable? That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, why don't you just tell the process of how you figured out the time it kind of took and what you had to learn to look for, in short.
Yeah. What I have, my experience, my decisions that I make, I mean, honestly, pricing anything can be the same way where you just kind of make up a price. But with Levi's, I had to learn what era they were from, and that you basically tell from the tags. You just have to learn your different tags and what the different eras are. And then it went down to sizing. So the smaller it is, the more uncommon it is. Therefore, the higher the price is. You can find men's 36s every single day.
Yeah.
And there's a bazillion of them online that you
Even
can buy.
super vintagey ones.
Yeah.
Not valuable because it was such a common size.
Yeah, if you're a size 36 looking for a pair of Levi's, you have a lot to choose from. Therefore, make them cheap.
It's a good question. It was a great question, but it is extremely difficult. It's like when people drop by the Discord and ask us how to price Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
You just got to get into it. You got to start learning and memorizing those 10 or 12 things. There's great YouTube content out there about that, and probably one day soon enough, Hannah will have some content of her own answering exactly that.
For sure.
I bet this question might have been directed at me, I feel like, but it's just asked in general. Could you beat Retro Rick in a boxing match?
No. It's a blanket no, and I wouldn't want to. I would tap him in the arm and just give him a hug. I'd feel really bad.
No, I don't know. Retro Rick would probably beat my ass. So. I mean, he's as small as I am big, so he'd probably just like lay down and trip me and it'd
so
be
kind,
over.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, he's like the nicest guy I know. I'm not gonna hit him. Thanks for your question, though. Your thoughts on marriage? Jason asks.
My
Ooh.
thoughts on marriage.
Yeah, this could turn into the whole podcast.
Okay, well, how in depth do we want to go here? That's a question for you first.
Well, I feel like I'm the one that would ramble on about it for 2 hours about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, just as simple as you
I'll
want
keep
to be.
it a little bit brief.
I'll tell you if our views start to drop.
Yeah.
We're holding 200 people right now. If it gets down to 170, we'll stop.
Okay, though this is actually a really good question for me to answer because I feel like a lot of stigmas say like the woman really wants the marriage and this is how the world should work. I am not one of those people. I worked in the marriage industry for a very long time and learned the ins and outs of weddings and what they are and why they are and the good things, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I got my fill of weddings. So I learned very quickly that I did not want to have a wedding. That was something I really felt that wasn't something I needed. No problems with anybody who wants a wedding. Super genuinely happy for all my brides I worked with, but that wasn't something I wanted. The other thing then I started to learn was that my feelings on relationships and on partnerships and how the society views relationships and how I viewed relationships, there was a lot of conflicting thoughts in that. So I felt that marriage itself wasn't something that I needed either. I feel like Dallas and I's partnership is fantastic the way it is, and if one day it comes around that we have to be married for some medical purposes, some tax purposes,
reasons,
then fine, sure, so be it. To me, it's more of a legal thing than it is anything to do with actually our relationship and who we are as a couple. So
I'll add that the frustrating thing about conversations surrounding marriage, the only time marriage or the idea of it frustrates me is when we don't go around considering our relationship more or less because of marriage or not marriage. It just doesn't cross our minds. We're together. We've been together. We plan on being together. Yeah. We just don't think about it. It doesn't come into our minds until, well, it is asked in our comments daily. And people come up to me in public and ask me why I am so rude and don't marry Hannah. Which is always so funny because I don't care either way. Let's marry, let's don't. She's the one with the almost more passionate feelings about it than me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've never been anywhere close to rude to anyone in public. We have people daily here in Phoenix that come up to us and introduce themselves. Lady comes up to me the other day. Hey Tindo.
Hi.
And she goes, I really like your channel. You and Hannah are great, but I just wanted to say I can't believe you haven't married Hannah yet. You've been together, what, 10 years? And she goes on, she keeps talking, and I say, hold on. And I was gonna politely, as I would with anyone, explain to them, you need to go talk to Hannah about this. Hannah will set you straight. Hannah would probably actually be the one being rude to you right now. She wouldn't let me talk. I swear to God, I went.
Hamburger backpack and all.
Yeah, I look just like this. Buffy the Vampire suit and all. Marriage is a difficult topic, okay? And there's going to be people watching that their only idea of marriage and couples is through a biblical lens, and there's no room for anything else. And of course, that's going to be frustrating for us as well, because the number of times I've talked to friends and they're talking about their marriage, and then I bring up my relationship with Hannah because we're just telling each other our stories and we're having a genuine conversation, and then you hear it in their voice, or they even say something that very clearly suggests that, well, you're not married, so it's not the same. You don't have the same thing I do. It's like, well, unfortunately for all of us, yes, I do. I mean, you spend your whole life with someone, that's all, you know. So it's a difficult thing. If we do get married, it'll, we'll let you know. I'm not saying we'll do it live on YouTube, but to probably clarify earlier, you were saying you don't want a wedding. It's kind of hard to separate. Well, wedding is one thing, marriage is another.
Right.
You're not necessarily turned off by the idea of marriage. Just to clarify, you're super turned off by just weddings and the hoopla over them.
I feel like there's not a lot of reason for me to want to do that personally. I mean, I see the appeal. I see people genuinely happy about their weddings, and that's amazing. And I am 100% supportive of their decisions, but it's just not something that either of us really need to feel fulfilled. So
yeah,
we let that one go. And yeah, weddings and marriage are completely different.
Be More Joker said my wife could care less about marriage, but she said yes. That's pretty funny, and I want to say thank you too, because Ivan just texted me to my personal phone number and said, you gotta quit being rude and marry Hannah. Ivan, go to hell. I want to say thank you to you guys for commenting. I'm actually surprised how positive the comments are.
Oh, good. Okay, I was really worried about this.
Well, I'm not worried about it. I'm surprised, actually.
I'm like the anti-woman right now.
Yeah, it's just a difficult thing. I actually don't usually answer the questions, whether it's in a comment or whatever, because it's better for you two. Because I will say one of the more negative things that comes up, and it's kind of why I walked away from that woman in public and stuff, it's like there are way too many assumptions when it comes to marriage in our culture. Now, there's definitely people probably watching from different places in the world that might have a slightly different culture built around marriage than ours. But here in ours, the assumption, the responsibility, everything's put on the man. And in this instance, it's basically, I don't want to say up to Hannah, but Hannah has taken charge in our relationship in this thing, in this one topic.
And I want to clarify as well, like, we make these decisions together. I'm not just saying, Dallas, no.
Or it's not like I'm like, will you marry me? And she's like, get out! High kick! It's not like that, though it's pretty funny to imagine.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I don't know. We don't have any religious leanings that make us feel prompted to. Again, if we ever incorporate our business or something and it needs to be better this way, well, sure, we'll do it. We'll do it live in Trash World when Trash World opens. That's it.
Cool.
It's none of anyone else's business, said Smiley Media. I mean, that's it. It's not, but then at the same time, we're also not, we don't have any reserves about sharing what we think about it, but this live show is a perfect setting for it. If I go on our channel tomorrow, we've got 213 people watching right now. If I say at the beginning of a video tomorrow, we're not getting married, here's why, those negative comments we were just talking about, they'll all be there. There's a place and a time, and we're going to get on into more questions, so keep those questions coming. We'll probably talk about this more in another live show at some time, because there's even more to it, We could both tell our history growing up, and how we came to these decisions, but that's not something we have time for today. So we don't mind talking about it.
No, we have our own perspective on it. We're happy to share it, and I know other people have their own perspectives on it, and it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. How tall are you?
Currently 5'11" with these shoes on.
Oh,
but
very nice. I count the shoes.
5'10".
I'm
These are chunky.
I'm 5'7" with my shoes on. I used to always say that. How tall are you? Because I get asked. You guys probably see people. It was like last week. Someone in the background of one of our videos was like, "Oh, how tall are you?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm 5'5". I used to always, because I get asked that every day. I'd be like 5'7" with my boots on. Someone said, "Quick, make a gif of that high kick." You want to see that again? High kick. You see how much leg comes out?
Well, you couldn't do that if you were wearing your suit.
Oh, I know. I'm flexing because I'm in shorts today. That's funny. Nancy actually knew how tall you are.
Oh,
Car
nice.
insurance is cheaper, LOL, but everyone is right as long as you're happy. That's really yeah. Well, it's funny. Culture definitely monetarily pushes you into marriage.
Yeah.
We will. I don't, the only thing that ever makes me want to hurry up and do it faster would be like I'd love to have my grandmother, who's not going to be around a ton longer,
Yeah.
because she did raise me, but she's okay with who and where and what we are,
Yeah.
so it doesn't
Like, she
matter.
understands who we are, and she understands what our relationship is, and I think she gets the fulfillment out of it that she's looking for, potentially. I don't know.
Joe said that high kick is X-rated. It definitely turns to the PG-13. Please rewind and start a new tape. I think it's rewinding. I'll push it back in. I think it already rewound it. We'll start it over.
Okay.
Look, the Furby commercials, they go long.
They do.
It's actually like 20 minutes of Furby commercials, which is every Furby commercial I can find. And then the Furby movie, which is like an hour and a half long. So it goes forever. I need to do a nunchuck demo. I need to have my dad on the live show.
Oh my
and
God.
have him do the nunchuck demo, because he can actually do it. I would bang my own noggin.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Let's see. Dallas, yesterday you made me happy because you holding that Buzz and Woody. Oh yeah, on yesterday's episode we found
That
a
was
$200.
super cool.
We should have talked about that in our week review. It was like $300. Special edition Wooz and Buddy. Wooz and Buddy. It was really cool. I really wanted it. Where'd you learn to sew? That's a great question.
Ooh, in college mostly, my grandmother was a tailor, and she worked from her home, and she always had sewing stuff around, so I knew the basics of sewing from her and my mom, but when I went to college, I really focused in on learning how to sew. I worked in the costume shop at my college. Made costumes all day.
Hector says, is it just me or does Tendo be wearing drip? I think he's talking about the backpack.
I mean, I know that
You've never been more attracted to me. Admit it.
A short sleeve suit is not something that people would go, this is acceptable. But I think it should be socially acceptable.
Make a gif out of this, biatches.
I don't know what you're doing, and I'm really scared about
You
it.
can watch the tape back later. What's your favorite color?
Purple. Blue. I don't know.
Your dad seems awesome. He should make many appearances. I wish he lived closer. He definitely could. Though I don't know if a live show would be. He's,
Loose cannon?
filter. He'd say some things that would get us in trouble. What made you start a YouTube?
Ooh. I mean, that's a question for you more so. 'Cause
Yeah, I just.
It's something you really
Well,
wanted
it's
to
the
do
obvious
first.
answer. Tired of working our regular jobs. I've been a video editor and content producer. For years I've produced a lot of. You have probably scrolled past a number of ads on Instagram that I've created. You would never know because I created them for another company. I did all that for hire for years, and I was like, I'm just gonna start doing this for myself. I just put it on YouTube and get paid just as much, which I'm really close to getting paid just as much as we speak. Like, it took 2 years, but I recouped what I was making. I'm starting to recoup what I was making. You can do it. You just kind of got to do it every day.
Yeah.
Suits get too hot, so the short sleeves make sense. It surprisingly looks better than I thought it would. I thought it was going to look so dumb. I think it's the backpack. Like, hold on. This is good, right? But, like, now do I look really stupid?
You kind of, honestly, I don't know what it is, but you slinging that backpack off of your shoulders made it look like you're about to go to prep school. Like,
really?
you're 12 years old,
I think
ready
you're
to
having
go
weird
to...
fantasies. Right
No!
now. Do we need to end this and...
No!
Go do
That's
something else?
super weird.
Thank you, Melissa. She says we make awesome videos. Hannah, what's your favorite retro TV show? I guess probably cartoons.
Yeah. There's too many of them. I don't know.
Can't think of one.
Well, I'm thinking of too many, which was my actual favorite. The early SpongeBob would probably be what I've seen the most.
It's definitely the one she quotes the most.
Yeah, so I guess that would technically be my favorite, but like I really loved Cat Dog, I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog, I loved it all. I don't know.
Let's see. Let me find another good question here. You guys do me a favor that are watching. I see several of our community members that are here. You guys spam those emojis so I can see how they look. Let's get a Hannah Bob emoji spammed in the chat like this. Everybody look at the chat. We get to see a Hannah Bob's going because today is official Hannah Bob Day.
Lol.
Somebody commented this isn't the school uniform fetish video I was looking for. I can definitely understand that.
It was not a fetish.
But you're glad you're here, aren't you? If they traded you a gym, let's see. I'm trying to understand this question. If they traded you Gym Mint Charizard First Edition for your whole collection of stuff, would you? If it's the one that's worth $1 million, yeah. Because I could go buy it all back from one game store and have a lot left over. If it was already graded in the sleeve and I knew I could sell it for $1 million. Listen, I love Pokemon cards, but I like collecting them. I'm not about the hype, about the price. So yeah, I'd do it. I'd sell it and I'd get some Mo stuff. Let's see. What is dress clothes? I grew up in Florida and I always wondered how to get dress clothes that are breathable. LOL. Well, if you could go back, you should definitely cut off your sleeves. Here's a question. Tendo and Hannah, do y'all have tattoos? We just talked about this. Not on the channel. Hannah brought this up while we were driving the other day.
It's actually really funny because I always forget that you do.
Yeah.
Like,
how do we show this off?
This isn't gonna go well.
I gotta get flexible. Watch this. You guys don't think 400-pound men are this flexible. Boom! That's a spade. Now I gotta figure out how to do this.
Your dirty rocks that we just
Come on,
cleaned.
camera! That's a club. Look, these are. I can do like.
Stretching.
Yeah. That's all I've got. Do you have any?
I do not. I honestly really thought about it whenever I was in high school-ish, college-ish. I was just like, all my friends were getting tattoos. I was really, like, getting serious. I was like, maybe I'll do it. And then I could never really settle on something that I really wanted enough to tattoo it onto my body. So I decided that was probably a good indication that I don't actually want one.
Somebody said bye-bye table. It does get pretty rickety. So, yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I guess I don't really want one bad enough if I don't even know what I want to get. So I never did. And I'm fine with it. I have no problems with it.
Someone asked, when are you guys going to hire an employee? How much more would you need to make to be comfortable doing that?
I don't know.
It's probably a better question for me.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think, like, I don't know which employee we would want first. That's the thing.
So, not until we can hire one and pay them what they're worth, I think this is going to sound like a PR answer, but I can't. We've had this discussion driving. Like, I think the other day when we drove to Vegas to meet Monique and Ivan, we had this conversation because we're always talking about growing and we want to buy a big piece of land and do. There's just things we want to do, and we will need employees when we get there. But we also we have all these conversations about your last job and the jobs I used to work and how, you get treated in the corporate world. And we're like, we definitely want to find a way to do that the best way possible, pay people what they're worth. So not, we could probably financially hire somebody on the cheap in a year or two. I mean, we definitely, at the current rate of growth, we could definitely see that. But we might wait a couple more years so that we can hire a couple people to be good at what they do and help us run what we're doing and pay them what they're worth.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to answer that. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but I don't want to hire people and treat them the way that most businesses treat people if I can help it. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So 90s with GSD said he'll intern. That's the kind of thing we don't really want to. I don't want to.
I've interned for places before, and you think it's fine. You tell yourself that it's worth it.
But it's not.
It's not. It's all scam, and it's terrible,
Yeah.
and people shouldn't ever work for free.
Listen, there are places where people intern and it makes sense. There's a lot of news places that there's a long history of working your way up from intern, and that's great. And if you or your kids are looking at a place where that's a tradition, do it. But I wouldn't really want to hire anyone for free. If anyone wants to come and intern and run a camera here and play music for our live shows, come intern.
Sure.
We'll pizza?
Pay you in food.
If we didn't collect games, what would we collect?
I don't know. I mean, we collect what we want to collect, so I don't know how to answer that. What do you think?
I mean, it'd probably just be the other stuff. I could see myself being a more diehard Power Rangers collector, but if I was going to collect something outside of the realm of what we already collect...
I feel like music equipment would be something you
Oh,
would be
yeah,
into.
that's something I've already collected a lot
Yeah.
of before. Yeah, music gear. I'd probably, if we didn't live in this world we live in right now and I was doing what I probably was going to be doing 10 years ago, it'd be musical gear. I'd be living in a house with a recording studio and stuff. When are we coming to Guam?
Ooh. Well, we'll talk to COVID about that and then see from there.
Let's see. Someone said they definitely appreciate that we're willing to pay a fair wage. Yeah, but also, I mean, we're also almost overwhelmed by it because if you don't know, if you're watching and you don't know, if your employee pays you X amount of dollars, they're basically paying double, because they have to pay the government about as much as they pay you. It's a difficult thing. So you think. That's why most people, when they start businesses, they start hiring people for cash under the table on the side, just something to actually get some help in. I tell you what, I wish more than employees I could find. I wish if we were I think there's going to be a point where we're just big enough that this would make sense, where we could perhaps solicit other YouTubers or smaller content creators to just do what they're already going to do, but do it with us.
Yeah.
So that we have I think all of our videos where we thrift and do stuff with friends are way better than our other content. I like having people around. I like doing stuff. I like bouncing ideas off of other people. So maybe before we hire employees, maybe at some point we'll just find some other creators to have mutual benefit with that will do some of the crazier stuff in live shows and videos we want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll happen first. I don't know if someone's asked, but would you guys have kids? Yeah, that was asked a bunch earlier, but we've moved on, and I didn't answer that question. Do we want kids?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably end up trying to have them right before it's too late. I mean, that's a real thing. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, no, it's never, but biology and... I'm kind of the mind I'd just like to have one.
Yeah.
I think we have such an appetite for travel and doing things. The moment you have 2 or 3, it turns into craziness. Let's just ruin one human being. But at least we'll take them around the world and make them a knowledgeable person before we ruin them.
Yeah, when we first got together, I was like, oh, I want like 4 kids. That's what I want. And then the more we talked about it, the more realistic we got with the conversation, the more we're just like, 1 probably is fine.
Yeah, we'll see. You never
Yeah.
know. It never goes the way you plan. But we definitely, and it's kind of the thing. If we can, 5 years from now, grow this into what we want to, maybe we won't make it there by then and we do something different. But if we could, I could definitely see us in 4 or 5 years having way more people around doing what we're doing and, having a couple different channels with different audiences where we can kind of go travel and do our thing, but come back for, Trash World content and have time and ability to have kids. Right now,
Yeah.
it just kind of isn't possible. But we look forward to it. We do. I want to have a daughter and name them Winona. Hannah doesn't like it, though, so... They will have the best backpacks, though. That's all I
They
can
will
say.
have good backpacks.
I had my first kid at 40. That's not bad. Let's see. There was another question. When are we seeing more of the bread truck?
Gas is just so expensive in that.
It's not even that at this point. We might actually drive it tomorrow because we have a lot to carry. But we've said at every turn with our bread truck, we're not going to drive it much until winter comes back because it's too hot here.
It is.
It's just too hot. So, I mean, it's out in the driveway. It's not going anywhere.
No.
What's your favorite musician or band?
The Beatles.
What's your dream car?
I really like Mini Coupes. We have this conversation a lot. You don't like them that much.
Well,
but
so it's funny because people, seriously, listen, you'd be surprised how many people have been pissed off that we bought a smart car. Like, they just think it's the worst, dumbest thing in the world. But it was like, not like our utmost dream car, but we've wanted one since we started dating.
yeah.
And we had the money to buy one, so we got one. We would have gotten a Mini Cooper. I literally don't fit in them. But when if we get to the point where we need separate cars to do, you're doing clothes business, I'm doing YouTube, whatever, we'll get you a Mini Cooper.
I think we'll probably end up just getting another
A
smart
second smart car? Yeah. They're great.
They're
5 stars, highly recommended.
We talk about this a lot. In the video where we were shopping for smart cars, that light blue one that we saw was probably my favorite of all of them. I loved the color. I thought it was super pretty, but it just wasn't right. So we didn't end up getting it. But eventually I think we might get a light blue one for me.
Christine says that they had 5 kids, and man, were they a lot to take care of. I'm glad they're all grown. That's kind of the idea with having one. You just do that 18-year cycle, and if you have kids at 40 and they're done by 60, you know, I don't know. It just sounds like it'll work for us because of the kind of obviously different lifestyle that we've chosen to live. But yeah, let's see. Lee also said you would have the best house that all the kids would want to come over to play at.
I know, right?
That's very true.
We're going to have a million kids at our house all the time anyway.
Hillary says she has 4 kids, and it's definitely crazy making. One is way easier to travel with. That's kind of the idea. And, you know.
Well, I grew up in a family of 4, and my parents both worked full-time, so it was just a huge madhouse all the time of, like, busyness and doing our own things. So, yeah, I could get how hectic that would be, and I feel like with our work schedule and everything, that would be impossible.
Well, you know, people talk about feeding their kids. My grandmother had me and my little brother to deal with growing up, and we had insatiable hunger. We were just massive children. I mean, I'm a 400-pound man. I was 300 pounds by the end of high school. Like, you're large. You're bigger than my mom, you know, so our kids are going to just be massive and going to want to eat more than me. It's going to be scary. But Nancy says, I already have a Power Rangers onesie picked out for your birthday. Nancy, if you buy me a Power Ranger onesie that fits me, I'll marry you instead of Hannah.
I'll allow it.
Okazum's electric toothbrush says, get that kid in a basketball program ASAP. We had like 5 comments when I weighed myself on the episode the other day.
That's so funny.
They were like, this dude's a linebacker.
You know what's so funny about it is, like, so many people ask you all the time if you play sports, if you're football, basketball, whatever. I got it all the time when I was a kid, like, oh, do you play basketball? And I was just like, well, neither of us play sports. Neither of us really like sports.
Yeah.
So it's like,
if I have a kid that wants to because his friends are, it's fine.
Fantastic.
I'm not going to be like some parents are like, you've got to. Let's see.
I tried to like sports. I played sports a lot. I was just not good at it.
Dead or alive, besides me, what 3 people would you like to have a dinner party with?
Ooh. 3 people would I like to... That's tough. What do you think? Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I mean, it would just be the obvious stuff, like Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. I don't know, picking 3 would be hard. To be the super obvious ones. Like, the people that, when you learn about history in high school, you always have way more questions than history's ever going to tell you, like Lincoln and Einstein and stuff like that. Maybe there was a vice president of FDR. I'm not going to be able to think of his name, but he, for me, is one of the more fascinating people. Wallace, I think his last name was Wallace. Really fascinating guy. I've read lots of biographies, and again, more questions than answers. So maybe him? That's a really deep dive, though. Henry Wallace? Was that his name? It's been a long time since high school. I'm sorry. Can you think of anybody?
Honestly...
Cher would be fun. She's alive.
Ooh, okay,
there's my
3rd one. Michelle Obama, Oprah, and Cher. And I just want them to all talk to each other.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
you just
even
want to
want
listen?
to be part of the conversation.
You just want to listen to him?
Just,
I bet Cher's got some stories.
She probably does.
How about that Sonny Bono? Elvis is a good one. Rose. Tindo in a onesie can't be unseen for sure. I'll wear the suit jacket over the onesie so you don't have to look at my TTs. My dad can beat up your dad, and then Tendo walks out. That'd be the best part. Ain't nobody beat. I'm gonna beat up all the dads because I'm just gonna lay on them. That's the answer to that question earlier. Can you beat up Retro? Can you beat Rich? Boxing match, he wins. UFC fight, I win because I lay on him.
That's always your go-to move. It's hilarious whenever people will bump into you, especially at the bins, because it's always so crammed and people are just aggressive in general. They'll just like walk up to you and I will see them catapult themselves off of you because you just are such an immovable object.
I'm so heavy.
You're just standing there like digging and all of a sudden someone's just like on the floor because
Yeah,
they bumped into you.
I have to get out of people's way because if they bump into me, it will make a scene.
It's bad.
It happens all the time. I don't. If you can't answer this, I will. What's the whole Illinois Lincoln thing?
I know that Illinois claims that he's from there, but
So
there's like
Illinois, Kentucky, and maybe Indiana. I can't remember. Again, it's been a long time since high school. He was born in one, was raised in another, and practiced law in another. So all three claim him in some regard. So that's
everybody
that.
wants to have Lincoln as their legacy.
Would you consider coming thrifting in Puerto Rico? I think you guys would love the island, maybe for vacation. Yes, absolutely.
We would consider going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I think you'll see about this channel that will, our whole trash world dream that we talk about so much could very easily fall to the wayside when we start getting the money to travel. I'd love to go everywhere in the world and do the shenanigans we do, and, for sure. Can't wait to.
I would love to see what thrift stores are like in other countries, or what they're not like, because they don't have any, and we'll just go and see what it's like there, and just, I would love it. It'd be amazing.
Tiffany Taylor just walked in the door and says that she absolutely loves those overalls.
Thanks.
I also love your name, Tiffany Taylor. That sounds like a comic book character. I'm contacting Retro Rigs people for a boxing match. Who's buying the PPV? Is she boxing him or am I?
Which would people want to see more?
I don't know.
Me cowering in fear and then crying, or you like actually potentially hurting him? I don't wanna do that.
Rose says she'd pick Carrie Fisher as one. That's a good one.
Ooh.
Because she's effing nuts.
I would be afraid of that conversation.
Oh no, you just have to let her go. She won't stop talking.
Wait, her and isn't it? Oh, shoot, who is it that just like wrote a book about their stories? Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm sure he did. But that was her thing. Before she died, she told all her stories about everyone.
I love it.
Let's see. Yo, I'm from Illinois. You should come sometime. All my friends, anyone in this world I call friends, lives in Chicago, so I do need to go there. Hector said, why don't you do garage sales? You'll have to rewind the video a bit. We've already answered that today. What 3 words would you use to describe me? Why are we making this about me? All right,
About
go ahead.
you?
Quick, rapid fire. 3 words. Yes. About me. About yo.
Silly, smart.
I'm certain you're about to say ugly.
Beautiful.
And backpacked.
In fact,
There's the smart part.
there you go.
I think the word you were looking for was clever.
Clever, yeah.
3-way dance, Rick versus Hannah versus Dallas. And I get to do it with the backpack on. I just lost it just then. Did you see that dance move? Let's see. Will you guys ever consider making a TikTok? I have one! Shark Tendo. No, Tendo's trash. Go look it up. Follow it. Thrift stores in Japan, pristine. I know. You know what I was thinking the other day? We've all seen content of other game collectors shopping in Japan. There's a lot Hannah would like to go look at in Japan.
Yes.
Lots of cute dolls. There's lots of things.
Kawaii fashion, I find
All that, yeah.
amazing.
Good stuff. But I just had this thought the other day. I'm going to show up there and the Beyblade that I'm going to have access to for cheap. I'm going to fill bags with
We're just
Beyblades.
gonna send it home.
I'm going to buy 5 of these backpacks and fill them with Beyblade. For sure. Let's see. Question for you. If there was a movie made based on your life, who would you want to play yourself? Some of these questions are classics, but I don't think you've ever had to answer them. So they're good.
No. About my life, who would I want to play?
I'm going to answer this one too for you. I'm going to think of someone to play you.
I think whenever I answered this question in high school, I chose Emma Stone.
Okay. But times have changed.
Times have changed. I mean, I feel like I can't think of her last name right now. Daisy, the Star Wars Daisy.
God, she's
Ridley.
a foot taller than you, but that works. Yeah, Daisy
I feel
Ridley.
like she would make sense.
The girl, the crazy girl in WandaVision that was in the Thor movies. I don't know her name.
Oh, she plays Darcy.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's got the right.
I feel
look and
like
stuff.
I feel like I'm very flattered that you like her for me because I think she's really cool.
She'd have to tone it down. She's a little more zany than you, but she'd be a good one. She's a great actress. I don't know who could play me. Zach Galifianakis, probably.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
With stilts. How much stuff would fit in the backpack? We want to know. Laptop, etc.
lot.
Well, it's actually pretty good. Listen, you guys are going to think I'm a poser, but I'm going to show you this. It came in a little scrunchy, so we packed it with this paper so it would hold its shape. But look at all that paper. So that pocket right there, 10 Furby, easy. That right there, laptop, easy. This pocket right here,
It holds
10
a
pair
lot.
10 pair of undie, 5 pair of sock.
It's a lot.
I don't think they expected that specific of an answer.
It's a very.
10 pair of undie, 5 pair of sock.
I feel like that's an understatement. Like you could fit
Oh yeah, I can fit way more in
a
there.
whole wardrobe in there.
Whatever I want. I can fit whatever I want in there. Let's see, what else? Kat Dennings, is that her name?
Oh yeah, that is her name.
Yeah, that's the one. That would be good.
I get told a lot that I look like a lot of celebrities.
When I was skinny, this is bad timing. He's in a bit of trouble. But when I was skinny and better looking, I got Army Hammer all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but I had very chiseled features. I was 20 something. And that's how it works.
You know.
Bag size is now measured in Furby. You got to be careful measuring your bag size in undies because my undies are huge. Because my butt is huge. 10 pair of undies, 5 pair of
Big
socks.
old butt.
Put that in your meme book and smoke it. Let's see. What else do we have? That's how I measure them. Well, I think the questions are slowing down. If anyone asks one that you just really wanted answered and didn't get it in, ask it now because we're going to wind down the show here directly. I'm getting hungry. I want to go bring home some food in this backpack.
Lol. You want to eat the backpack because it's a hamburger?
It does. It looks like a good hamburger. I love that piece of cheese is just boom, as big as it is.
cat ears.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, that's
So
funny.
good. I do really like. I really wanted to make a mini backpack. Like
Yeah.
a
You
small.
need to make a miniature one of these.
I should make a small hamburger backpack.
The next plush backpack. I'm sorry. The next hamburger plush that we find, we should make into a backpack.
100%. That's being done. Let's do that for sure.
What GoPros do we use? We try to have the newest ones every year. So we have the 9s now. We use 2 of them. And when the 10 comes out, I'll sell both of them. Buy one, wait a couple weeks, buy a second. Who's the oldest cat?
Pants. Not by much, though.
Undies is the new metric system of measurement, for sure. For a cloth bag, that's how you measure it. If space and money was no issue, what's the one thing you would love to collect that you don't already? So that question's specific to size. Is there bigger stuff you would ever want to bring home you see at the thrift but can't?
Vintage furniture.
Yeah, she likes furniture a lot. For me, the answer... I don't need to answer it, but I've answered it before. Basically just... I already limit myself with a lot of this stuff that I wish I didn't have to, so it would just be more of the same. Do people give you guys eyes when you go to the same Goodwill all the time?
I don't think, eyes. I feel like there are some employees that recognize us.
Yeah, the ones closer to home and stuff.
But I feel like they're used to that. People show up to the same Goodwills all the time. I don't think that's that strange.
What kind of content on your channel could we look forward to? I guess you can answer that.
Like what's on my channel in the future? Or
this
our
is,
channel?
I would imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hannah stuff.
Hannah things!
I really enjoy cooking. I like sewing. I like doing DIY projects, thrift flips, that kind of thing. So it'll be a lot of creative stuff, but also a lot of food stuff because I really like food.
I said earlier in the channel about this channel that we don't want to be... We want to be able to do whatever we want on this channel and not get pigeonholed into video games reselling. She's very desperately trying to find a way to cram all the Hannah things into a channel where hopefully people will show up for all of it and she won't just have really popular sewing videos but then no view cooking videos or vice versa.
It's tough. If it turns out that sewing is what people want to see, then I'll turn that one into a sewing channel and I'll make my own cooking channel later or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'm sorry that I have to ask more questions about me, but this is a good one. How often do I brush my hair?
Never.
Have you ever seen me brush my hair?
Never.
Almost never. I look like I'm 5 minutes late to a frat party when I do.
You called me while I was at the grocery store one day. I was going to get milk or
I
something.
have no idea what you're about to say. I don't
And you
remember
said
this.
to me, Hannah, buy me a hairbrush. And I go, why?
It was probably for my beard.
It was. You're like, I want to brush my beard.
I
and
did.
I want my own hairbrush.
Yeah, because yours is always nasty and full
Well,
of
I
hair.
got a lot of hair.
You do have a lot of hair. I, for a period, brushed my beard, but I've never brushed
And
my
I
hair.
think you used it once, and now I use it for my brat stalls.
Let's Hannah shenanigans. What did we? We're not gonna give it away.
Yeah.
You just that Hannah shenanigans comment made me think of something that we decided on. You're gonna have to wait. When are you coming to Florida? Great question. When are we coming
Whenever.
to Florida?
I don't know.
The pandemic messed up so much, guys.
Travel's tough.
Yeah, we were gonna do a lot more. Having the smart car obviously it extends our reach for how far we can go with the amount of gas money we set aside for trips, because that's still an issue. But it also kind of shrinks the scope of how much we can thrift and shop and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's give and take.
but we can get in that car and drive to Florida right now for like 100 bones, which is kind of awesome. I've heard you mention interning in LA. Where did you intern for, and how was your experience from a former fashion intern? Well, did you sign an NDA?
No.
Okay.
I didn't sign anything. That was one of my things. I just didn't. Anytime they're like, "Oh, we have this contract," I'm like, let me see it. I'll think about it.
Yeah, you just said, yeah, I've
I
done
don't want to sign anything that I don't need to sign. But anyway,
That's a good habit.
I did 2 internships while I was in LA, and then one while I was in college. That wasn't in LA. It was up north.
In Santa Maria.
In Santa Maria. The one in Santa Maria was a costume shop specific internship over the summer where
at a theater company.
yeah, it was a theater company and I was a stitcher and I just sat in front of a sewing machine all day. The first one in LA was with a fashion PR company. Their entire job was just to take the clothing from the companies that hire them, take the line and send it to celebrities so that it can be on paparazzi photos.
Do you remember the name
and
of it?
IDR?
It was some abbreviation.
Yeah, something like that.
she mailed out boxes to Beyonce all the
did.
time.
There was this one time, I tell this story all the time because this is my one like claim to fame thing. The girl that was working the front desk had quit while I was in that internship, so I was sitting at the front desk for a while. And FedEx brought in a box of hats from Lack of Color, which is a very popular hat company out of Australia. And I told my boss, I was like, hey, the hats from Lack of Color are here. What would you like me to do with them? And she goes, oh, set those aside. Those are the hats for Beyonce. They need to be shipped out next week. I was like, excuse me? These are going to Beyonce. Okay. Yes, I will do that. But anyway, that was my internship there. And I quit that internship to go work for a small jeweler. She was trying to build her own brand and make her own jewelry and all that stuff. And I worked there for just a little bitty bit, and that was not lucrative for either of us. So we parted ways on that one, and then shortly after we took the job here in Phoenix, so we left for Phoenix. Anywho.
Well, someone just asked what days do we get on Discord, and Joe answered quite correctly, all day, every day. Hannah actually doesn't much.
I lurk. Like, if I see something that I'm like, oh, I should chime in on that or something like that, I will. But
Well, Hannah and I have been very good in our relationship to split our responsibilities down the middle according to our skill sets. And her skill set's not one of really dealing with that kind of online thing.
No, I'm terrible even sending text messages back to my friends.
Yeah.
People that I, like, try to talk to constantly. Like, I'm bad at it.
Yeah, I got the typing fingers. I can do like 200 words a minute. Let's see. What's your favorite type of music?
80s
Rapid
rock.
fire again. So go. 80s rock?
Yeah.
That's your answer? What's the most expensive thing you own?
Oh, What is the most expensive
That's
thing
hard.
we own? The car? Is that a
Yeah,
cop out?
My laptop's probably my computers.
I feel like a more creative way to answer
Well,
that question would be what would be the most
that-
expensive thing we collect
That
we
camera,
own?
it may not look like it because we're getting huge YouTube compression, but that camera's like $7,000 sitting there.
Yeah.
So probably that.
I don't know. Pants.
Pants.
Pants is
Priceless.
He's
Great
priceless.
answer. Let's see. Yeah, so Bobby said lots of bees tonight. Beyonce Burger Backpack Brats. That's going to be the name of this stream. Let's see. Shark Noms. Why are you guys saying Shark Noms?
Oh. That was our
We did a series.
related channel.
Yeah, well, so the idea was always to have a bunch of channels one day. Shark Tindo was going to be our gaming channel. Shark Noms was going to be our food channel. And it just went on from there.
Yeah.
It just like we had this huge. That was the original iteration of the idea, but that kind of changed at some point. That's why. Look at this intro real quick. Whenever you come to this would be the only time I ever do this on purpose. Why? I made that 100 years ago when that was sharks were going to be our thing. Let's see what else. I keep thinking of some questions I saw earlier that we didn't answer that I wanted to get in before we left because we're going to wrap up real soon. And so before we do, definitely hit that like button. But we're going to scram a few more in here. And thanks for getting us over 100 likes. Keep hitting that like button if you've just showed up and you haven't hit it yet. Someone asked way earlier, what do I do that annoys you the most?
Oh, that's so funny because whenever we were at lunch today, I was like, I bet someone's gonna ask me something
Like that?
What irritates you the most about Tindo?
She did. She was like, I'm nervous about tonight prep. What are they going to ask me? And I asked her about 20 things you guys have already asked her.
And I thought about it. Dallas is a morning person,
Yeah, I knew that would be your answer.
and I am not.
Yeah, I'd make her get up because we've got too much to do for her to sleep until noon.
I get infuriated sometimes whenever I'm like, I don't want to wake up. I'm tired. I don't want to start the day.
Yeah.
And he's just like, come on, let's go. It's
Yeah.
just that'd probably be my answer.
How long does it take to make a pair of color block jeans? Thanks, Joe. I saw someone post that earlier. That was another one I couldn't think of.
Approximately an hour if I sit down and don't stop on it. I try to do a bit of batch work.
I was going to say it's probably an hour to chop it all up and to sew it.
Right.
We're usually 8, but for you to actually sew them together is not very long.
No. I mean, the entire process, was what I was talking about.
So
But
if I sit there and I undo 10 jeans, she can sit there and crank out 10 jeans in 3 or 4
because,
hours.
it's only 4 straight lines. And straight lines are the simplest thing to do on a sewing machine, and they take no time at all. So actually assembling them doesn't take but like a few minutes. But all the other stuff does take time.
Here's a great question. Do y'all have a food that you argue over? Sometimes one of you loves that the other doesn't?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we argue over it. I know the answer, but go ahead. I don't know if you were going to say the same thing.
Okay, he loves, I don't know if loves is the correct word. He is obsessed with chicken wings. And I think they're fine. Like, they don't satisfy me. I don't feel like full whenever I eat them. I get tired of eating them so quickly. So he's like, I want chicken wings. And I was like, ugh. So that's probably the one that we don't agree on.
I would, that's probably number 1. Number 2 would be, or the convert, the one that you like that I don't would be like, you like barbecue on stuff.
Yeah.
So she likes barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah.
And I'm happiest when I get to eat my food and then half of hers.
Yeah.
So when she gets a barbecue pizza and there's not very many things in this world that I just can't eat.
Yeah,
But I'm not kidding you. That barbecue chicken pizza that you get tastes like bologna or something. It tastes like processed, gross stuff.
We
but
have
it's her
very different palates.
It's her favorite thing in the world, and I hate it.
Like, we had pizza tonight. We got a slice of pizza at one of our pizza places we always eat at, and you ate the rest of my piece, and you're like, this is disgusting. And I didn't say this out loud, but I was like, honestly, this is one of the better slices that I've had there. So, we have very different palates.
Yeah, that's true. Captain America Mom, thank you for the 99. We'll take it.
Thank you.
We'll get some breakfast on you tomorrow. Pizza or chicken wings?
Pizza.
We know what my answer is.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's your favorite thing to sew?
favorite thing to sew? Something quick. That I can
Anything
sit
that
down
happens quickly.
and finish it in 5 seconds.
You've already said the opposite of what I would suggest, but like, do you actually like sewing?
The actual process of it?
Yeah.
No.
You're more results oriented in this way. You love
Yeah.
you love to get it done to have the thing
Yeah.
you're making. Yeah. Sewing sucks. It does.
Honestly, the thing that I do like about sewing is hand in hand with the thing I hate about it. Everything that you do in sewing, other than cutting, of course, is reversible. So when you mess up, you can fix it. But when you mess up and you have to fix it and you have to sit there and tear all your work apart that you just spent hours on, it's so infuriating.
Yeah, I get that. Do you like sushi?
Yes. I don't like raw sushi stuff, though.
Yeah,
I like cooked things.
I like sushi. We for a long time when we first kind of got into eating it a bunch, we would eat whatever. My time on the road, though, the jobs that I would do on the road, the people that would hire me would always take me out to fancy meals. It was just part of that atmosphere, and I've eaten some $high sushi before that makes it now really hard to eat the not $high stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the few things I do like turn my nose up if it's not really good
You're
stuff.
stuck up about it now?
Yeah, so we don't eat a lot of it because we also don't want to pay a lot for it.
Yeah. I mean, you eat so much food, too. Like, you can sit there and eat sushi until the cows go home. So, it can get really expensive whenever you're eating roll after roll after roll.
Do you have a favorite fashion designer?
Ooh. No, nah. On-the-spot questions are really hard. I've just forgot every single fashion designer I ever, I'll think about this question later tonight and I'll be like, yeah.
Well, you probably know the most about wedding fashion designers,
Yeah,
probably, which
really
is kind of
do.
not fun to talk about. Tone, thank you for the $1. You can think about that one. Best chicken sandwich?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we probably have to agree with that one. The definition of sushi is literally raw fish. Well, I get that that's the literal definition, but when you go to a sushi place, 5% of the sushi is raw fish. They've gotten a lot more. If you haven't had sushi in a while, they've gotten a lot more creative than that.
They're fun.
That's awesome. Tone, thank you for the $1, my man. That's look. Breakfast funds acquired.
Yay!
It's all right there. All right. Well, I've had a good time. You can sit back down now. If you see any more questions pop up that you'd like to answer, go ahead and answer them. I'm trying to think. Someone did ask earlier. They were more asking about your channel, what kind of content that they can expect. But I thought maybe just to kind of wrap things up here today, we talk a little bit about what we want to do over the next couple months. Because things are definitely changing for us, you know. And I know some people watching without even really realizing it have kind of noticed certain things. We've definitely gotten to a place where certain responsibilities we have made it to where we've had to get really good at making our videos a little bit more specific and patterned. Like, it's just like thrift store, wrap up, right? And so I kind of wanted to say before we get out of here, let me and Hannah kind of take turns about talking about what we want to do with this channel, what we're going to do coming up. So we're definitely still doing reselling stuff, but I think over the next couple months we're going to lean a little bit harder into our antique malls because we've figured out that these next few months are going to be really good for us if we stock them well. So I think you got to look forward to on our channel over the next few weeks, me building some more custom tables to hold things for our antique malls. I think that'll be fun. That's my number one priority. My number two priority, I'm going to spend more time collecting on the collecting side for video game stuff, because in cleaning out the house and doing some other stuff we're going to stop doing this and start doing that. In the whole mess of rearranging our lives for that, I've uncovered a lot of stuff I'm going to trade in. So I'm planning on having like $1,000 worth of trading credit over the next month or two. So I'm definitely going to make a lot of content for that. So if you're here just for the thrifting and you don't like video game hunting videos, watch them anyways, because we're gonna try to have some fun ways to do that. But that's kind of what I think about the next few months. I'd definitely like to know what Hannah thinks about the next few months. I'm trying to guess, though, what it is that you're going to want to get into, because your attention has more so been towards patiently looking for a time to start your own channel to do some other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But we've still, even when that happens, just like I do Rubber Duck Yellow, you're going to still do this. So what do you think about the next few months?
I mean, I'm with you for sure. I think focusing a little bit more on doing some antique mall renovation, we'll call. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good step for us to work on.
Would you know what you want to do? Because I haven't said much about it on the channel, but I want my antique toy booth that I take care of to turn into stations. Build your own lightsaber, fill your own Lego cup. And I'm going to go around my entire toy booth like that. So what do you want to do to your clothing booth?
I mean, honestly, this kind of starts to answer the question. My biggest priority is to get caught up on orders so that I can get a bunch more color blocking in there and start working on getting a lot more of my custom pieces in my antique mall. But that being said, I'd like to start pushing more and more clothes into my booth,
right.
And making it kind of like a little Depop shop, because that's like my big love. My first love is selling clothes. So I think doing a little bit more clothes oriented area, like a clothes oriented booth, would be really exciting for me, and to kind of deck it out that way.
So clothes, more clothes.
For sure.
That makes sense. It's kind of hard, really, for you to answer kind of the rest of the question I set out, because, you want to make some cooking content, you want to do some other things that you've decided would probably be better on another channel. It'll be an interesting time. Do we have any other final thoughts from any of you? You guys want to comment on anything else before we go? Because we are going to hit the end button in about 3 minutes.
Which pin are you wearing today?
Oh, did I not show it?
I don't think we talked about it yet.
Well, let me switch to B-Cam over here. This will actually be a very timely thing, I think. What do you guys think about that? It's a button today instead of a pin. I made this myself. That's a Tendo original. Actually, that's right out of a Game Informer magazine. I stamped it myself and pressed it myself, and I'm very proud of myself for it.
Yay.
Actually, you know what I should do? I should permanently place this one on Yee Hamburger Backpack.
Lol.
It now lives here. I'm glad you thought of that. That's dope! It's got Tetris on it, I didn't even notice. What else?
What's your favorite dessert?
What is your favorite dessert?
Cinnamon rolls.
My favorite dessert, I don't know. I don't like dessert as much as you do.
Yeah.
Pizza cookie.
Why did we name our cat Pants?
Is that a long story? Not really.
Not really. Paige Bradley.
It's bad, though. It's like dark.
It is, yeah, a little bit.
Go ahead.
So you were on the road one time. I was here by myself, and I was actually riding the bus home from work because you had taken the car for your trip. And I was walking up to the bus stop, and I saw a missing cat poster for a cat named Pants. And I laughed. I was like, that's the dumbest name I've ever heard for a cat ever. Like, why would you name your cat Pants? And I was really judgy about it.
Yeah.
And I called you later on that day, and I was like, oh my God, you'll never believe this missing cat poster, what the cat's name was. I told you, and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Awesome.
You're like, I kind of like it. I was like, what? No, it's so stupid. And while I was on the phone with you, I was walking through our neighborhood, and there was a cat sitting in the middle of the sidewalk. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I'm talking about cats? Maybe this is that Pants cat. And so from then on, any stray cat to me was Pants. And our Pants was actually a stray cat. He was abandoned in the parking lot. Someone just dropped him off, and he was living in the chiller for the air conditioning unit in that little room with a couple other cats. And one day he came up to you and started manipulating your love, yeah. As he tends to do. And I fell in love with him. I was obsessed with him, and
I called him Pants once and couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't stop.
I laughed because I was like, he's got to be someone's cat. We can't keep him. He belongs to somebody. So to keep myself from being too overly attached, I called him Pants, because every stray cat is Pants. And yeah, it's just he showed up and stayed, and we've called him Pants ever since.
Well, I think that's probably going to be a good place to wrap things up. I think if you've got any questions that didn't get answered this time, definitely keep them and come back for the next live show, because though we will come back with a theme for next week, some sort of shenanigan to get into, whatever it is, we're still going to make two things predominantly the larger staples in our live shows, one of them being kind of a week review of what we've done before, and the other just being kind of Q&A, chatting about things. So thanks to everyone that stopped by today. About 1,500 people have stopped by since the live stream started. A couple hundred are here right now. So if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button before we do go. I know you hear a lot of YouTubers ask to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It is unfortunate when you're sitting on our side of things how much it does matter, because then we have to beg you to do it. So if you ever feel a little bit grated by hearing it so much, just understand it really does help. So you hit that like button. A few more of our subscribers will see the thumbnail with Hannah's face on it tomorrow. That's really how it works. The more you guys interact now, the more it's pushed tomorrow. So hit that like button before we go. Help us edge a little bit closer to 200 likes. But definitely come back tomorrow. We, hell or high water, we're planning on doing these live shows in the coming future every Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know what time that is where you are, but Google it. Google what time zone you're in, figure that out, and set a timer, set a reminder. Come back next Sunday. And I'm probably going to be wearing this backpack, but I'll probably have a different suit. Have you picked out your outfit for next Sunday, Hannah?
No, I literally pick it out 30 minutes before we go on.
Maybe I'll have the hot dog bag next time.
Ooh.
Maybe you'll have your pizza bag next time. Either way, you're not going to know unless you come back. So do come back next time and find out. Thank you guys for all being here. Hit that like button, and until next time,